Hello, and thank you for joining us today. My name is MG Govia. I'm the Education and Outreach Liaison for Okie 1, and we're going to be discussing the updates for the Oklahoma Underground Damage Prevention Act and all the information that goes along with it. So, buckle in, we have a lot to cover. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at education@okie1.org, and we'd love to help you out with whatever questions you may have regarding the OUFDPA. For those who don't know about the Oklahoma Underground Facilities Damage Prevention Act, it was a law that became effective in 1982. It's a crucial legal framework designed to protect underground facilities and ensure the safety of excavation and demolition activities across the state. Over the years, there's been updates to improve communication and compliance. And this year, there happens to be a couple of updates that we're going to discuss. If you haven't reviewed the law, we always encourage you to know what information is there, and you can find it on our website at okie811.org/the law. You can also find the link on the bottom of our website, okie811.org. You'll just see a link that says the law. When we talk about damage prevention, there's multiple stakeholders that are involved to make sure that we're doing everything we can to keep excavation safe, as well as prevent damage to those underground facilities. It starts with our design and engineering folk, right? If they can get ahead of those projects, if they can get ahead of that construction or excavation and move utilities around if necessary, be able to plan without disturbing or interfering with other underground utilities, that is a great starting point. So design and survey is the starting point for damage prevention. And then, of course, our excavators or the DIYers who do work, we want to make sure that they understand the importance of OK11 and A11 in general. By using it every time, they're improving the chances of being safe while doing those projects. Of course, the facility operators and owners, they are going to be doing their public awareness. They're going to put out the signage. They're going to encourage you to use A11 because obviously we don't want to damage those underground facilities. Locators are not employed by Okie 811. Locators are either going to be in-house by one of the facility operators who are responding to the locate request, or there are a third party, such as like Gridhawk or USIC or one of the others. And so they have an important role in damage prevention to make the accuracy of their locates, the communication, all those things. And of course, there's Okie 811, right? We're the Oklahoma's one call system. We are the notification center or communication hub for damage prevention. So an excavator is going to be utilizing us to let us know that digging is going to take place. And then we're going to get that information out to our members who are facility operators who receive locate requests. And they'll go out and mark those lines. So OK811's role is to provide those damage prevention services with communication, as well as trying to get out there and promote everybody's responsibilities. I want to help our member companies know what their responsibilities are in getting lines located and their public awareness, as well as helping excavators put in good locate requests, making sure they're complying with the law and doing everything they can to stay safe out there. And then finally, there's the general public. And the general public, we do everything we can because we don't know when the general public may need us, right? Professional excavators are going to be using us, hopefully, every single project because they understand the requirement by law. But the DIY or the homeowner who has a weekend project, we want to have that commercial in front of them during the Thunder game or the Sooners game or the Cowboys game so that a year from now or 2 years from now when they decide to plant that tree or whatever project they may have, that they have seen the 811 message, they understand the importance of that safety message. So those are just kind of a high level understanding of what all the damage prevention stakeholders are and how they all work together. The next thing we're going to be talking about is just the process of 811. It starts by that excavator contacting OK811. They're going to give us at least 2 business days notice, not counting the data notification, weekends, or holidays. So in other words, if someone calls in on a Monday, they could dig as early as Thursday, right? Monday would be the data notification, so it doesn't count. Tuesday would be 24 hours. Wednesday would be the 48 hours. Thursday would be when you can dig. Counter that with a Wednesday notification. Put in the request on Wednesday. Wednesday would be the data notification doesn't count. Thursday would be 24, Friday would be 48, and then you could dig as early as Saturday. Some of you just said, I don't dig on Saturday. that's fine. You could always give more than 2 business days notice, not counting the data notification we can always. You can let us know that you're going to be digging on Monday, and we'll put in that locate request for Monday. Just remember that whatever you put as your work to begin start time, that your ticket is not valid until that and the locators have responded. So the contact is going to be made to us. Over 75% of our tickets are submitted through our website. So you will hear 811 before you dig or contact us before you dig. Obviously, calling us is an option, but most of it's going to be done through our phone or through our website. Then we're going to request or create a locate request that's going to be sent out to the member companies so that they can respond to it. A copy of that locate request is going to go to the requester, right? Whether it's the homeowner doing work for themselves, whether it's a professional excavator, those requests they're going to get a copy, and then the request goes out to the member companies to respond to prior to the work to begin date and time. They're going to go out and they're going to use the APWA color code. They're going to make sure they're marking their facilities with the right color to let everybody know what is there. And then they're going to do their mandatory positive response. And within mandatory positive response, they're going to let the excavator know the status of their locate request. And then the excavator's responsibility is to confirm all the information before using heavy equipment. So first, they're going to verify or validate the locates. They're going to look at positive response, make sure that everybody has responded and gave a status. And then where there are markings within their work area, they're going to pothole and discover the depth, the distance, and the direction of those underground facilities so that they can expose, support, and protect them before using any heavy equipment. A couple of things to keep in mind. Private lines are not located through this service. 811 is designed for facility operators to mark what they own and maintain. So if it is beyond the meter, for example, a lot of companies will not locate it. If it does get located, that's just a company going above and beyond what they're legally required to. So we can't promise that it will be done, but it might get done, right? If you have work around private lines that you're not sure of where they are, I do suggest making a second call out to a private line locating company. And then we've already discussed this. So key 1 is not the line locator. So let's talk about ticket types, right? So we know the process now. You're going to let us know at least 3 business days ahead of time. And we're going to produce that locate request to go out to the member company to mark their lines. Well, here's all the things that we could tell the member companies about what's going on. First, the design or survey request. This is a completely 100% online submission. You let us know where your project's going to take place, and we'll put you in contact with the facility operators in that area to exchange mapping or markings if necessary. But just remember, there is no excavation that can take place on these tickets, and the information shared will be the facility operator's discretion, and they'll have 14 calendar days to respond to you with that information to help you prepare for an excavation project. So 14 days information sharing, design survey request. I recommend doing that as often as possible, because what this does is not only does it help you prepare if you need to move your work site, but also it means when you're ready to excavate, you can have a clear and focused scope of work, right? So when you're putting in that locate request, you've done the design survey stuff and you know how this landscaping is going to go on this property. Now, when you're doing the locate request, you can go, I'm working along these fence lines. You'll see white paint and flags that you can locate a radius of. I can trim down my scope because I've already done the design survey. I know exactly where I'm planning on digging, and I'm saving the locators time by giving them more relevant or more precise locate instructions. An emergency locate request is a courtesy notification to operators that you are digging because there's an endangerment to life, health, or property. So once we know that there's an emergency, you have permission to dig, right? It's not permission to damage, not permission to just bring in the excavator and start pulling up everything. But if there's an endangerment to life, health, or property and digging is required, you do not have to wait for a member company to respond. However, you should do due diligence and give the member companies a chance to respond. So what do I mean by all that? You want to have the justification. You want to make sure that there is an endangerment to life, health, or property. You can't, planting a tree is not an emergency, right? Like common sense stuff. once you have the justification that I do need to dig because there's an endangerment to life, health, or property, now I'm going to give as much notice as possible, right? The large third-party locating companies, their company policy means they're going to get there within 2 hours. That's like paramount for them. However, some of the smaller companies that may not have the resources may need, when they get to that emergency request and they see that you started an hour ago before they get to it, because that mayor, locator, farmer may not have seen your emergency request until 2-3 hours after it started, right? So the more time you can give, the more opportunity those member companies have to get to you. That being said, you have permission to dig as early as necessary because of the endangerment of life, health, or property. But the more time you can give the member companies to respond, the more mines that will be located and more opportunity for you to be safe. So keep that in mind. A non-compliant locate requests are almost done. They are not going to be processed after November 1st. So I'm not going to go a lot into this, but it was just a not valid locate request that someone was just adamant that they were going to dig without giving us the full 3-day notice. That's no longer going to be available after November 1st. Second or third notices, excavators definitely use this. Second or third notices is when a member company has failed to respond before your work to begin date and time with their positive response or locate status. If that's the case, put in that second notice. Let us know that XYZ telecom company didn't make it out before your work date. We'll put in that second notice to that telecom company. A couple of things to keep in mind is, one, it doesn't reset your ticket. So in other words, you don't have to give the XYZ telecom company another 3 business days. You're letting them know that you are on site and you've already waited your required time with your notice, right? So that's the number one reason to do it. Number 2 is CYA. You're documenting due diligence that you want to have all the lines located. And then finally, it's kind of just a report card for those companies, right? If XYZ Telecom Company is having a really difficult time in Northwest Oklahoma City, XY Telecom may not know that their third-party locating company is having difficulties in an area until they start seeing those second notices. So keep that in mind as well. So the report card aspect of it to hopefully improve locates going forward. And then, of course, the CYA move of showing your due diligence that you want to have those logs located. Demolition requests, if you do those are a 2-step process. It's just a further notification because it's 7 days out to let utilities disengage from that structure. And then there will be a locate request put in 3 days prior of the structure coming down for any heavy equipment or excavation that needs to take place with that demolition. And then damage reports. If you damage reports are just that. They're required by law. It's letting us know that damage has occurred. If it's around pipeline especially, you definitely want to call us and let us know, because by doing so, if that damage gets discovered 6 months from now, then not only were you going to take care of the damages because of liability there, but you'd also may have some penalties or punishment from Oklahoma Corporation Commission for not calling in the damage report when it happened. So a couple of things to keep in mind there. So next, we are going to talk about the required information when you put in these requests. So this is the first law update that we're going to discuss there on the 4th line. But here's everything that we're going to ask for when putting in a locate request. We're going to start with the name of the individual serving such notice. What does that mean? Well, the person who's calling us or the person who's going to be on the website putting in a locate request, we want to know their information because our quality assurance, right? If we process a locate request for 123 West Main Street and we start listening to it, and through some miscommunication, it should be 123 East Main Street, then we can call out to that person who served notice, confirm, hey, is this West Main Street or East Main Street? Make the correct ticket and then get it out, right? So that person is Okie 811's contact. Then we're going to get the information about the project, right? What's going to take place, where is it going to take place, and then we're going to get the excavator company information. The excavator company information is important. if you're an excavator and you work for a plumbing company, when you call us, we want the plumbing company's information, not your individual information, right? So the company will be on record of doing the work, and then you're working for the company, and so you're going to be the field contact, right? So let me break that down. The person calling us, that person, if it's an office admin or it's the person doing the work, whoever is calling us to put in the locate request, that's OK811's contact. That person is going to put in the company information so that we know who is going to be doing the work. And then they're going to provide us the name and phone number of the field contact with actual knowledge of the excavation site and project. And that highlighted area with actual knowledge of the excavation site and project is huge, because previous to this, that information was already there. We just didn't have the yellow highlighted information. And a lot of times the locator was not able to communicate with the field contact, and they're calling office admins who have no clue about that dog in the backyard or the gate key or whatever other access issues are there. So what has been frustrating is locators aren't able to talk to the excavator to get these locates done on time, and there's been issues. So now that we have OK811's contact, we have the company information as well, then we have the actual knowledge of the excavation site and project, so a locator has somebody they can talk to. This is the locator's contact, right? And then the next part is going to talk about the scope of work. Put a bullet on that. I'll bring back that information to you here in a little bit. And then we're also going to talk about explosives, directional boring, access issues, and white lining. And then we're going to get the date and time when work is begun. The reason that we ask so many questions is just so we can give the locator all the information they can need to process locate requests efficiently and safely. And so it is important that we get all that information. If there's any information that is not correct, such as access issues, then that could delay the excavator's request. Remember, once you put in a locate request, you do have to check for that mandatory positive response. It's the excavator's responsibility to do so. Within the OUFDPA, it says an excavator must check for positive response at the notification center prior to excavation or demolition. So if you don't know where to find that, you can go to our website, OK811.org. Across the top, you'll see plenty of options, but the one that says quick ticket lookup will take you over to our portal. And when you do that, you'll see the find ticket option on the top left. Punch in your ticket number. You'll see the positive responses so that you can respond, or so that you know what to do with your work site. If you need to put in a second notice, if you can ready to dig, whatever the case may be, right? So this is the area that this is required. If you aren't checking your positive response, check your email. You will have a email that goes out to you, the date of your work to begin date and time. You can check that for your positive response. And if there's anything missing, you can go into the portal and see the live response as well and put in the second notice if necessary. So when you're looking at positive response, you'll see different action titles, if you will. The codes you won't see, and the definition and comments you won't see, but you'll see, well, let me rephrase that. You'll see comments, but you won't see this information. So the action title, for example, if they go out and mark the site, you'll know. They'll just say facility located and marked. If it's clear, they'll say that's all clear. And other is kind of a miscellaneous catch-all. It might be knocked on the door, homeowner wasn't home to let me in the backyard. It could just be any status update, right? Partially marked, that's going to be an agreement between the excavator and the locator. Make sure this documentation is on both sides so that you can have that information. No access or not marked. This is what I was talking about earlier. If a locator gets out to a site and a gate is locked, there's an angry chihuahua, there's no homeowner home, there's no reason for, or no way for that locator to get a hold of the field contact, been trying to call, no answer, getting voicemails, they can put no access, not marked, document what they tried to do, and then leave the site. And then if they have multiple attempts and they get there on the work to begin date and time and they're still not able to get back there, they may respond with the next positive response, which is correction required, not marked. Remember, we're going to ask every excavator at the beginning of our tickets if there's directional boring, explosive white lining, or access issues. If there's access issues and the excavator and the caller didn't give us the information that we need to give access to that locator, they can make it a correction required ticket, which does reset the 3 business days response, right? Because they've tried, they're giving up on getting a hold of the excavator. We're going to put in the correction. When I say we, the locators are going to put in the correction required. That'll go back out to the excavator or the submitter. And if they don't submit a new ticket, that locate request is never valid. So remember that when putting in locate requests, you have to check your positive response, and you have to make sure you're giving all the information necessary for those locators. Next is watch and protect. We're going to do a deep dive on watch and protect here in just a minute because it's one of the law updates. But the part that you need to know about watch and protect is if you see a watch and protect response used, you do have to work with that facility operator to be on site or have the operator on site when you're digging within 10 feet of their underground facilities. No response is an auto-generated response of operators who did not respond during the 14-day life of the ticket. A cancel request is an auto-generated response when an excavator is not doing work on the project for some reason. Either they did the work and they closed the project and they want to call us and close it out, or they put in a bid and maybe that homeowner chose another excavator, so they'll call us to cancel out their locate request so that if damages happen in that area, they're not associated with it, right? So cancel request, that's option as well. Ticket type extend, when updating a ticket, right? Because tickets are only good for 14 calendar days. When updating it, you'll have the option of either having lines remarked or just extending the life of the ticket by just saying, I've already preserved all my markings. I'm just going to be out here digging for another 14 days. So we're going to give you that option. When you say that you just want to extend the life of your ticket, an auto response of the ticket type extend will go out, and then the operators will have the opportunity to go out to see you or not. It's up to them. And then maps provided, that's for the survey responses if they provide maps. So the positive response, when you look at it, this is what it looks like. If it's in green, that means they've responded. If it's in red, they haven't responded yet. Here's the information you'll see on this one, that 4 out of the 5 companies that responded all responded with all clears. However, One Oak on this one did a critical facility in conflict. This is what Watch and Protect used to be. As of November 1st, Watch and Protect is taking over the critical facility of conflict code. So it will be Watch and Protect going forward, and that Watch and Protect information will have the name of the representative as well as contact information for that company for the excavator to reach out to coordinate when to be on site for that excavation around their facilities. Just a heads up, 90% of all Watch and Protect codes are utilized by either One Oak or Oklahoma Natural Gas. So if you see those 2 companies on your locate request, pay special attention on that Watch and Protect so that you can get the information to get their representative on site. You may see it for some electric and some other companies, but a majority of Watch and Protect is going to be One Oak or Oklahoma Natural Gas. So let's talk about these law updates and kind of go into what that looks like. So I think we talked about the process, got it back in place, and now what do the updates do to improve the process? So with the 3 things that we're going to talk about today is Watch and Protect, large projects, and then pre-excavation meeting requests. So with the Watch and Protect, it's a positive response of Watch and Protect has been indicated. No excavation may take place without an operator or its designated representative present to observe the excavation within 10 feet of the operator's markings of its existing underground facility. So like I said, One Oak, Oklahoma Natural Gas, or some other company may respond with the Watch and Protect response code. And when they do, then the excavator must delay excavation around their facilities until they can have that representative on site with them. So what does that look like? So The definition, like I said, is a safety protocol. It's established through the law. That just means that the facility representative needs to be there when excavation is going to take place near their facilities. So it's going to be triggered by that response code. It's going to be triggered when work is going to be within 10 feet of those operators' marked facilities. Now the excavator needs to call and go, yes, I'm going to be digging within 10 feet in the next 2 days, or whatever the case may be, to get them on site to work with you. The operator is going to provide the contact information in their positive response, so you'll be able to talk to them directly, and the operator should communicate the safety protocols and measures to observe during that excavation. Now, this is crucial, right? Because picking up on the communication, it needs to go from facility operator to excavator to say who is available and who you need to talk to and make those arrangements. Then the excavator's responsibility is to reach out to that contact and get together at the right time, right? So if the operator is not responding to phone calls or being on site and going off of the excavator's request, then the excavator should reach out to the Oklahoma Corporation Commission and have that enforced. Hey, I'm trying to dig within 10 feet of XYZ's pipelines, but I can't get there because the XYZ's contact isn't calling me back. OCC is the enforcement authority, right? So they're going to handle that. If it's the other way around, if the facility operator is going on site and they know that they've responded with a watch and protect site and they see digging around their facilities without being on site as you requested, then the operator should reach out to Oklahoma Corporation Commission to have that conversation with that excavator to make sure that they're doing watch and protect correctly. Excavators, it's important to do it because you're checking positive response, you're going to see that information, and then you're going to follow up on it, because I do not want you to have to deal with anything when it comes to enforcement around pipelines. It's the only area of the law where you can get fined and punished above and beyond repair liability, right? So I want you to stay safe around those pipelines and make sure you're doing the watch and protect correctly. When it comes to it, right, we've already talked about the responsibilities. The communication is the most important part. Without compliance, you may get those fines that we talked about, and make sure you're documenting everything so that if there is future disputes, you can show what happened. Large projects got defined this year. OUFDPA 1 has had a large projects process to handle large scope of work to break up, that large area into 5 to 10 tickets or whatever the case may be. But what has happened this year is that large projects got defined as a standalone, and large projects are excavation projects that are involved of one of the following, and it exceeds distances defined, or its estimated duration is more than 90 days. And remember earlier when I said put a bookmark on that, this is where that definition comes into again about the scope. The scope of a ticket cannot exceed 500 linear feet in town or 1 linear mile in rural areas. So we defined a large project. And why is this important? We already had the large project process. Well, the reason that it's important is because large project now opens up an opportunity for pre-excavation meetings. And so since that definition was made, now we can reach out, or the excavator can reach out to request those operators to come and talk to them about a marking schedule and other communication. So I apologize, I'm going to read this part to you, but it's good information, and I'll give you a breakdown afterwards. Excavators involved in large projects may submit a pre-excavation meeting request no less than 14 calendar days prior to beginning excavation or blasting activities. Such notification shall include the excavator's proposed meeting date, time, location, and contact information, including name, telephone, and email. The date of the meeting shall be a minimum of 72 hours after the notification has been submitted. Notwithstanding the information above, nothing prevents the excavator and underground facility operators from choosing to meet otherwise. All affected facility operators or owners shall be notified once the pre-excavation meeting request has been submitted, and in turn will provide a positive response within 72 hours to the notification center, indicating their ability to meet on the proposed meeting date. All parties involved in the pre-excavation meeting shall coordinate a marking plan and take actions necessary to ensure proper notice requirements are met for the affected facility operators. So I realize that's a large paragraph. There's a lot of information there. But what it breaks down is, now that we know what a large project is, if you are going to be working for more than 90 days or for more than 500 feet in town or a mile in rural areas, you can request, because you have a project ahead of you that is a large project, you can request the facility operators to meet with you and work out a marking schedule, communication plan, what it's going to look like. Make sure that you're trimming up the scope of that project as best as you can, things of that nature. And so it's a great opportunity. It also says that notwithstanding this information, you can meet with them anytime. So hopefully, as this gains more traction and we are the communication hub, we'll see more and more of these meeting requests. But as this is evolving, if you have an opportunity to speak with a facility operator outside of using the meeting request, you can do so. Just heads up. But I personally, if I can offer a suggestion, I would use the meeting request. It's a documentation that's going to be housed through our documentation retention plan, which is at least 4 years. So that you have that in addition to your own processes if you use us. So the reason that this is such a good thing, it starts with the purpose, right? We're wanting to improve the locating communication, damage prevention communication, to get rid of waste out of the system, to hopefully improve the communication when it comes to the locating area, and then having a plan to make sure everybody is doing the right things. The submission process is from the excavator. The excavator is going to be the one who's requesting it. They're going to ask for the attendees. The facility operators are going to send people on their behalf, whether it's locators, whether it's their mapping or other resources to help with that communication. And then if OK 811 needs to be involved in any of these, the facility operator or the excavator can just reach out to us with any questions you have. And then we can participate, whether it's virtually or just answering questions, or if necessary, we can try to have somebody on site. And just to wrap up the pre-excavation meeting, those topics are going to be marking plans, the excavation methods that are going to be used, safety protocols for the project, any access issues, and then timeline and responsibilities that help everybody get on the same page. We already talked about documentation, but I like this because the benefits that are going to come is going to be that improved communication. It's going to make sure that all the underground facilities are accurately marked. It's going to open up more safety because of the discussion of the protocols and how we're going to handle everything. And then if you choose not to do a large project, there could be delays because you didn't see an opportunity for this facility operator to work with you on scope of work or something like that. So it's another opportunity. In a perfect world, a locate request or an entire project would start with a design survey request where there's no excavation going to take place, and everything gets mapped out and the project gets designed, and then a locate request has been put in for the excavation that's going to have relevant scope so that they're not marking 40 acres for, less than an acre's worth of work, right? So then you can put in an accurate locate request that's relevant and quickly done by the locator. And then if it's a large project, have the meeting with the facility operators after the design, but before the excavation, to make sure the marking schedules and excavation methods and other important information is discussed. And again, that's perfect world, but it's a great opportunity to improve the communication to help everybody stay on the same page when it comes to damage prevention and safe excavation. So I'm excited about the new law updates. I want to know your thoughts on it as well. Email me when you get a chance. The email address is education@ok811.org. Let me know your thoughts on the law updates, how it's going to impact you. And if you have any questions on improving your processes or anything like that, I'm here to help. I've said this before, when it comes to OK811, we're the ambassador of damage prevention. We are on the side of just keeping people safe, whether it's the excavators putting in our locate requests and making sure the accurate information is there, or it's our operators responding to those locates requests to get those lines marked so that everybody can stay safe. So OK811 is right there in the middle. We're going to do everything we can to help everybody keep their responsibilities so that we're keeping all the excavators safe and hopefully preventing damage to those underground facilities. So again, if you have any questions about the law update or future ideas for presentations, feel free to email me. The email address is education@oka811.org. I look forward to hearing from you, and thank you for doing everything you do to keep Oklahoma safe. Have a great day.